We are getting a Nintendo Direct this month. This comes from a very credible source, as well as some other information that lead to this month being it. In this video, I'll go over all of it. It's a little embarrassing because I just made a video where I said we won't be getting one. So if you guys haven't heard already, Nash Weedle just tweeted, so this week. And we don't know if this is going to mean a Direct happening this week or an announcement of a Direct happening this week. And I know what you're saying. Crafty, why are we talking about this small tweet? And truthfully, little side tangent, I don't really want to make videos about Direct leaks all the time, but it's just been such a slow news week for Nintendo. I kind of have to scrape the bottom of the barrel for content. But if you guys don't know who Nash Weedle is, he is a very credible Nintendo leaker, like uberly credible. I think whatever he says normally comes to be true. And just talking about this year, this generation, he's already predicted the Splatoon Raiders announcement. He said 2 weeks before the Splatoon Raiders announcements, there are pending announcements and some of these we'll see exclusively through the Nintendo Today app. One surprise game with a release this year for Switch 2, one announcement of a major game for 2026 for Switch 2, and then 2 announcements for Switch 1 games for 2025. And shortly after that, we got the announcement for Splatoon Raiders, though we don't know what game he was talking about. I'm pretty sure it would be the surprise game, which means a lot for Splatoon Raiders, which I will get into in another video. So with him saying that this week we'll be getting something in regards to a Direct, what does that mean for us? So he also has stated in the beginning of June, Leak Express, Nintendo has confirmed to retailers that shortly after the launch of the Switch 2, there will be new announcements. It's not confirmed whether this will be through a Nintendo Direct, but it seems like a new wave of announcements is coming. Since this was all the way back in June, and we still haven't gotten a wave of announcements, and we're in July, it would make sense. And this is actually one of the reasons why I kind of love Nash Weedle. It's because he says information and then also doesn't like outright state it as a fact. He says it's not confirmed whether this will be through a Nintendo Direct, because he doesn't know himself, which is honestly like very reassuring for me when it comes to the stuff that he's saying. But yeah, so since we haven't been seeing a lot of news announcements, yeah, that kind of only leaves July or August. And if you guys didn't watch my previous video, the why there won't be a Direct in July, I basically state that we most likely will be getting a Direct in August, which, I mean, is still a possibility. But when it comes to Nash Weedle, he is saying that we most likely will get something this week, whether that be the announcement of a Direct or even a Nintendo Direct. Personally, I don't think we're actually getting a Direct this week because the frequency of Nintendo Directs happen on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. At the time of recording this video, it is currently a Tuesday. So they can announce a Direct for Wednesday and then release it on Thursday, or, I mean, they could just shadow drop a Direct. They could do something like that. This is like a new era for Nintendo. Nash Weedle has even said this himself, saying that a lot of the stuff Nintendo is doing is different. So they could be doing a Direct over the weekend as well. But if we're going off of this heat map, there most likely will be an announcement for Direct sometime in Wednesday, Thursday-ish for the next week. So going off of Nash Weedle's predictions, going off of Nash Weedle's information, if we were to get some sort of announcement and it isn't a Direct, we will most likely be getting a Direct either the 15th of July or 16th of July, because Donkey Kong Bonanza then comes out the 17th and 18th. And then we have the Pokemon Presents on the 22nd. So, I mean, it makes sense. And that seems like the only way it could really happen, unless they announce something basically today at the time of recording this and then release it on Wednesday. But then again, they could totally switch it up and do a weekend Direct, which would be honestly crazy. I want to briefly talk about what he said might be showing off in the Direct. To be fair, he hasn't said anything about Animal Crossing, so I just kind of want to be realistic about that. I don't want to get so hyped on Animal Crossing and then not happen to be so disappointed. But he has said, don't you miss some game updates for Switch 2? Not all announcements have been released yet, but the new wave of announcements for Switch 2 Edition games might be closer than expected. He said this back in June 26. And then, literally, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, he says, heads up, Pikmin 4 will be one of the next games to receive an upgrade on Switch 2. I've heard a rumor that it'll be a Switch 2 edition, which would include some additions. I haven't been able to verify this, and this makes sense. I think this kind of goes into my theory upon there being a Switch 2 edition game for the first year of the Switch. In another one of my videos where I talk about the lineup, we go over everything when it comes to, what Nintendo might be releasing. And that is where I did predict Dragon X Drive coming out in August. But then we are needing a Switch 2 edition game for September, November, December. So like 3 more Switch 2 edition games. And I think everyone is of agreement that Super Mario Wonder would also be a Switch 2 edition game because it hasn't received a patch. Neither did Pikmin 4. A patch being, something that gave basically free upgrade enhancements to mainline Nintendo games. This still frame is not doing me justice. I think like the only other games that haven't really gotten a patch is of course Animal Crossing, but then again, I think they're just putting all their development time into the next Animal Crossing game. And Xenoblade. I think Xenoblade is another main Nintendo published game that hasn't received one. And I think those would fill out the year just nicely. Of course, apparently there's rumors about Splatoon Raiders appearing in September. The ESRB rating already came out, which is kind of crazy for a game that we were thinking was going to come out next year. But if it's already come out, it is most likely a September title. So that could be showed off during this direct. I feel like the news wave for Donkey Kong Bonanza has kind of died down. We will get the release basically next week, and I think everyone's probably going to talk about it for a little bit and then dissipates. I think Donkey Kong will be a great game, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be like live service-esque where we're going to be getting a lot of information on it. Arguably, like right now, when it comes to Mario Kart World, I think when it comes to news, we're all kind of done until the next big content drop. But yeah, this is exciting. I'm not a big fan of recording videos like this where I just talk about one very specific thing that could get irrelevant very quick, but it has been a very, very slow news week. And yeah, I just needed something to talk about. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. We will see what Nash Riddle is talking about, whether that be an announcement of a direct or even a direct this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And please don't make fun of me. The video that I posted about there not being a direct this month was just to make things realistic. Okay, bye!